Chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted. Look, stay in the lead, we don't follow. We need it now, not tomorrow. Don't care what they say, not changing the pace. Working too hard to be last in the race. So much time in the day and it ain't none to waste. Working this hard to be one of the greats. Whatever it takes. Life is a gamble, we raising the stakes. Moving the bar up so high. Been on our grind, for life. Bringing the light, future so bright. We shining, platinum sound cool, but we trying to reach diamond. Hard work pays off, that's perfect timing. Changing the world with this rhyming, it's priceless. We got the nicest by putting the time in. Can't be the greatest, I'm not even trying. What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. What now? We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up.
Hello? Man, I lost track of time. I apologize, Mama. Go ahead and eat without me. I'm still on the grind.
I ain't touching home base by dinner time. All I can see is the finish line. Started, I gotta finish mine. It's get it time, anytime, hella long. I've been in line, I didn't mind it all. Waking faithful, that's on my word, my boss. Naming lights, gonna have to pay me twice or pay me no mind, and I don't mind it all. My grind is real. I am my job to inspire. I'm right behind Gote. Line has been fired by a chain for a time. I ain't get hired. Second week kicked in, I probably won't get tired. Kevin Gates or Kevin Bacon. Only 6 degrees of separation between me and the next level of elevation. Perseverance, the art of dedication.
What now? We on the chase to the sundown. We on the chase to the sun up. What's up? Leading the line when we run up. Chasing, chasing, chasing. Every day we chasing, chasing, chasing. No time to be wasted.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. How is everybody doing on this great Sunday evening? We are back with our weekly send-off ACC PlayStation 5 platform. So we have the Infinite Racing League here tonight, and I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. As always, family-friendly broadcast here, as all our sim racing broadcasts are. We appreciate y'all, and on the screen in front of us, as we all can see, is a layout of Circuit de Spa Francorchamps. Absolutely amazing racetrack, and this is where round 2 of our GT3 Summer Series version 2 is taking place. So last weekend the racers really had it tough over there in the UK at Silverstone. It was just raining relentlessly, and finally race officials had to drop the red flag. They had to call the race, and due to the fact that that race was not 70% complete, round 1 officially does not count. So round 1 will be ran, of course, at a later date, determined between, of course, the racetrack at Silverstone and our IRL officials here, and that will be rerun at some point later in the season. So technically, we do not have a championship points leader coming into round 2 yet. Very rare situation here, but it does happen. Of course, the race officials always concerned about the racer safety at the end of the day, so we appreciate all the concern and all the great work over there at Silverstone Racetrack. That was a great call in our opinion, and we'll do it again another time. So round 1 officially kind of starts tonight. So welcome in Spa. Beautiful, beautiful racetrack. I mean, it is designed for racing. Some spots a little tough to pass on, but definitely doable. It's really going to come down to risk versus reward and driver skill. We're going to see several different of the manufacturers on the racetrack here today, and we'll take you over to that in just a minute. Qualifying is about to start here, so there we go. Let's flip you over. That was some great time. We'll talk about the racetrack here while our drivers start their qualifying runs. So we're going to jump on with, our championship winner from last season, MX Blocks, and let's stick with him here for a couple laps around Spa. So it is a 15-minute qualifying run, and that's going to relate to roughly 6-7 laps if the drivers stay out the whole time. So it's a difficult racetrack, but boy oh boy, it's a fun racetrack. So we'll sit on board with MX Blocks, and so we'll talk about again that racetrack a little bit. So Spa is a 4.53 mile racetrack. It is 7 kilometers. It has 20 left and right hand corners. It's a tarmac road surface, and it is a world circuit. Great racing happening there every year, all year round, 24-hour. Spa always provides for some amazing racing, and that's just the start. We have elevation change of 341 feet from our lowest point to our highest point here on the racetrack, so quite a bit of elevation change as you go up and down and all around our circuit here at Spa. This is a high-speed technical circuit that has hosted everything from F1 to endurance races over the years. The long 7+ kilometer track utilizes the mountainous environment. The track is praised by many racing drivers for being one of the most challenging in the world, and I tend to agree. And but you know what? It's a beautiful racetrack. So we got our championship defending driver here, MX Blocks, number one. Our number one car is our defending champion. So stealing the title from Johnny B last season in the GT3 Summer Series Part 1, as we head into GT3 Summer Series Part 2 now, he is back on the charge for a repeat championship. However, last week he was unable to make it in the race, so the red flag being called before the 70-minute mark, 70% of the race mark was complete, is huge for MX Blocks, and now he does not lose a race as far as points counting goes. So that is an interesting little spin on the season right off the bat. So huge storylines right away here in this second part of our summer series here from the Infinite Racing League. And again, this is partnered by Coach Dave Academy, as well. As you can see on the bottom right hand side of the screen, they're absolutely incredible dudes over there. They do provide great information about the platform, about our equipment that we use to race on the platform. They have helpful tips on how to set that equipment up as well. They also provide professional tunes for these race cars for sale to the drivers to purchase online, and it's very track specific, very weather condition specific. It gets pretty in detail. So head over to www.coachdaveacademy.com. Very simple, and check out what they have to offer over there. If you're thinking about getting into ACC, that's the site to go to. They help you with every aspect of the game, right from learning drivers right to very experienced sim racers. So huge shout out to Coach Dave and Infinite Racing League, because I gotta tell you, man, this is some great racing, these GT3 8-week little series that we're running here in Infinite Racing League, and I'm excited for tonight. Spa's going to be a good race. So we have MX Blocks him out here. He's on his out lap right now. So as soon as he comes across the start-finish line here, we'll do a little flying lap with our championship defending champion here from season 1, and just take us a little run through here. But we're going to do it. I think we're going to have to do it on board. What do you guys think? Let's do it on this view. This view is fantastic. It's very loud in camera, so I'm just going to turn the car audio down just a little smidge for everybody so you can kind of hear me better. There we go. Alright, so we're heading into Lasaurus here. This is turn 1, very tight, a very, very tight corner, like 200 and some degree corner here. From here, you're running downhill into Rouge and Aradion. Now, here you can shift early because you're heading downhill. You're going to keep the momentum in these racing cars, so you're not really losing anything here. From here, you're going to try and keep it tight, catch a little bit of curb there. That's a beautiful little line right through there, and just full on the throttle. Here, you start to slowly lean over into the left side. As we come down the Kemmel Straight here, that takes us into the Combs. It's a 3 S-sector set of corners that takes us into another hairpin here to start off into, I believe it's our second sector of the racetrack. So we want to hit every apex and just be really patient, just roll the car out and utilize all the racetrack. Hard on the power here, use that exit curve, there's a lot of it there. From here you stay over on that left side, you set up for Brussels as a hairpin, and again you're just rolling through. It is downhill, so you can stay in a higher gear and keep momentum on exit here. From here we're heading up into Ooh, I forgot the corner name. Fail. As we head in towards Puan here. So this is a very high-speed double apex 180-degree corner that takes us back around the mountainous terrain here. And here it's all about throttle management. You don't really break a whole lot heading into the corner. Again, it's just all about throttle management. From there, that takes us into campus and yet another set of S's. This one's a little more open and a little more elongated, so they are a little more flowing, but you make a mistake here, boy oh boy, it's going to be a tight spot for the rest of the cars up and behind. From there, we head into the Paul Frere curve. This is a high-speed sector. You really need to get it right or you pay the price. You do not want to shoot out wide past the curbing. That green artificial turbing really does cause the race cars to lose that traction. It can cause cars to spin again. Dangerous situation there, as there's always hot traffic in behind. From there, we head up into Blois-Chamont, high-speed sector. Drivers aren't lifting here. It's all about angle and steering input here. From there, that takes us into the final chicane, or what it used to be called the bus stop chicane here at Spa. And that is a lap around this very great racetrack here at Spa. So that was a great lap right there by Blocks and GGs. Appreciate that from our defending champion here. Let's see what he puts down for a time. There's a 2:19.660 here for his first lap. So let's take a run through the field here. Let's see who we got. We've got Dan SN here, unfamiliar driver, so I think he's new into the series, so welcome in. He's in that McLaren here as well, currently sitting in 15th, and he is just on a flying lap now. We have 10th place here. We have Irish Jerry back on grid here, so returning driver from last season as well. He's also in that McLaren. Lots of drivers really digging the McLaren here right now. It feels good, I'm told. And currently sitting in 10th position, we have Rigo here. He had a great race last week, and it's unfortunate for him that it ended the way he did, but he'll give it a swing here in round 2 at Spa, and he's in that Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2, and currently sitting in 5th place. He's changed up the color scheme here this week from last week. We got Jay Trapman here. He is in the Lamborghini here as well, and a new driver here, and unfamiliar here as well to me. So welcome into our currently 9th place driver on the grid, as I was a 222.3 as he came around 10th place there. Now we've got JDR, returning driver in that Lamborghini here again this season, just upgraded to the newest version. And what's he got there? Sitting in 7th place as he comes across the start-finish line there. We've got Scary Guy. He's just coming out. We've got M. Bernie here in coming out of the pit lane. We got Delta Mike. We were on this driver a little bit earlier. Another driver unfamiliar, so another new face here. He's in Aston Martin. And it looks like he's giving way to somebody on a hot lap here. He's just trying to make sure he's in a safe spot. So that's some great racing awareness right there. We've got Fluka, of course, our Ferrari driver here. We all know Fluka, returning driver. He has been improving race by race as he goes, so it was just a matter of time before this driver's really one to watch out for the championships. We've got Sir Roder Videra? Ooh. That's a tricky name here in 17th place, the new driver in that Ferrari, the new Ferrari there. We've got Choco, of course, one of our administrators here. He's also in the Ferrari. We've got Tango 2 in the Ferrari. We've got Yakast returning here. He's also in that Ferrari 296. We got Vic returning from round 1 here, also in the Ferrari. We've got Racing Hobo and back in that BMW from last season. We've got GLR Seal. He's opted to go with the Porsche, the new Porsche here in 8th position. We've got Rapid Duck in that McLaren as well. And Rapid Duck did say at the end of last season he is definitely feeling good in this car. So look out for this driver, currently sitting 3rd on the grid. We have Johnny B, who lost the championship to MX Bloxham last season, also in the McLaren. So it's going to be an interesting season, Judd. It's going to be an absolutely interesting season. Bloxham's currently sitting in 2nd place. Oh, who was our pole sitter there? We just seen him. It is Johnny B sitting in 1st place currently, provisional pole. So it's on like Donkey Kong between these two drivers already. Ooh, this is going to be a good season. And I mean, it's not just between those two anymore. It's going to be a very hard battle, I think, between 6-7 drivers in this grid immediately as I go through the field here. I'm not going to say who. Who do you guys think it is? Leave us a comment below. Let us know what you think. Rigo here in 6th place. We've got Jay Trapman here in 9th place. For those of us that are unsure what all the color coding means, of course, in the driver's lineup on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. So we have Dan SN. He's a red. His number's in red there. That means he's a rookie or an AM driver currently within the point system of the set of course competition. From there, we have the bronze setup as well. That's in between the red and the silver. So bronze essentially would be like a Pro-Am series type deal. We have our silver drivers, which are like a pro, I guess, in a sense, in the rating system. And and then you get, I believe, a gold. When you get to gold, I think that you are a GTD pro essentially in real life racing nowadays. And then we have, of course, the white, which is elite in a sense for those of us that are Gran Turismo junkies. So yeah, the ACC is a great rating system. They base your ratings and your level of tier that you're a driver in based off of not just a couple things, you know, it's based off of race control, track knowledge, safety rating, driver recognition rating, positional finishing rating. There's about 8 or 9 different levels and categories that a set of course competition really rates the drivers on. And that's either whether you're racing the AI, the computer, or you're racing in open lobbies, or you're racing in organized league races. That like this is a private server, password protected. So, but no matter what the situation, the ratings are always ticking. And those safety ratings and all those ratings are what makes that color coding rating on the bottom left hand side of the screen. So the platform itself has a really great system in place for basically determining classes of drivers. Alright, let's find a driver flying here. We got Delta Mike currently sitting in 16th position, again in that Aston Martin here. Seems like maybe just struggling just a little bit early on here, but he had a huge rip around Blosham on there. He just couldn't quite hold the corner down. And that was definitely some momentum there, but that's probably going to be a track limit. As you can see, that the lap in red, which means it's a void lap because he exceeded track limits based on race control. So there is live race control, of course, in ACC as well. So the race control does monitor track limits. I believe you get 3 or 4 track limit warning violations before you have to serve. I believe it's a drive-through penalty, and then again if you do it again, I think it's a stop and go 30-second penalty. So the penalties continue to increase and get more and more severe. So what we have in store for us in the next 3 minutes of qualifying is we're going to determine our starting lineup here for tonight's race, and then from there we're going to have a cool down period, and that allows the drivers to do any last minute changes on the cars that of course are allowed within the premises of the rules and regulations of the platform, so they can make some adjustments on their tunes, change air pressure, stuff like that. You know, determine how much fuel they're going to start with, all those things. From there, race control lines the cars up on the start-finish line, and what we'll see from there is a virtual safety lap. So there will be a pace car on track, but it'll be a virtual pace car. We won't be able to see it, but the drivers all have race control in their ear via radio communication, and race control controls the pace when the drivers go 2x2 and whether or not that it is green flag situation at the start of that lap. So we'll see a lap around Spa at a determined speed by race control. They'll all be single file to start, and then I'm assuming about at the end of the Paul Frere curve in towards Blois-Chaumont, we'll start to see these drivers line up 2x2, and then from there we'll see if they drop that checkered flag here. And I do believe we're starting on the Grand Prix layout, not the 24-hour layout, so the start finish line should be at the start and beginning. However, though, there has been instances where they just get a short lap to warm everything up, and they come around turn 1 for the first time, and it's a green flag when they cross the 24-hour layout. So there are 2 scenarios we could see here. It didn't specify within our settings here today, so those are one of the 2 situations we are going to see. If they stay single file, if they stay double file, that means we'll get the short race start. If they start single file, then we'll see a full caution lap or a virtual safety car lap to get this race started. And that just allows the drivers to warm up their tires a little bit, build some air pressure up, and get those brakes warmed up a little bit. So when it comes to race start time, they're not all on absolutely cold equipment. They have a little bit of a hope in some traction immediately, and then some immediate braking power. It does take, of course, time for the tires and the brakes to warm up to be in what we consider optimal conditions. Oof, and we got the Aston Martin sitting sideways around an exit of a corner there, but the driver's very aware of what's going on. So Fluke is currently sitting in 5th place right now for Ferrari. We're going to stay with Fluke as he's coming into the Paul Frere curve here right now, and almost at the end of this lap. So with about 45 seconds remaining, he will get another crack at this lap here if he wants another one. It just depends when he does come across that start-finish line, but with 30 seconds remaining, he should make that flag before they drop the checkered flag here. So Fluke is coming around here, is currently about 2, 3, 4, almost half a second up on his best lap, which is 2:20.617. So very close to those pole times here right now. And it's good enough for 4th place. It's a 2:20.525 right there. So that was a good lap there from Fluka, and he's going to send it around one more time. We got a void. Where are we here? We're coming up to the start-finish line right now. It's going to be a 16th place here for Choco as he comes through for the final time. Oh, he's going to get to go around one more time. Okay, now the timer's run out, so every time these drivers come through now, it will be a checkered flag here. What do we got going here? We have one driver just coming out of La Source. Where are we? I think we're in campus right here, so let's stick with JDR, currently our 9th place driver here, and he's been sitting pretty strong in this 9th place position so far here at qualifying. So let's stick with him, and I believe it's Tango 2 just in behind there as well, in 12th place currently on the grid. The car we've seen in the foreshot there in the background there as he was going around the corner. He's down right now, but it doesn't mean he's out on this lap yet. Blochemont can really make or break, and of course the bus stop chicane can really make or break the end of your lap here yet too. So nice and clean. He's right on par. He's about 2/10 down here heading up into the bus stop chicane. The final 2 corners of qualifying here for JDR, so let's see if he can pin it down, and he is up. Does he get the exit here? He's losing time. It's bleeding quickly. It is an improvement. It's a small improvement, and it's going to be 9th place at 221.475 there. And Tango 2 is going to actually jump up into 9th position, knocking JDR down a spot. So Tango 2 having a good last final lap there as well. We got Bernie here in 15th position. He's in the Audi, so let's stick with him here as he comes around. He is 4/10 up currently as he comes through campus, and as he's heading in towards the Paul Frere curve, looking good here to improve on his time. And I believe we have I don't know who that was in behind. I forget. Changed the color scheme on me. He's got me all confused. Hope we're all having a fantastic evening today. Welcome in from wherever it is you're viewing, of course, and we appreciate all that great support here on the YouTube channels tonight. So again, this is YouTube exclusive content here from the Infinite Racing League, and this is the place to be on Sunday night. Alright, he is almost a full second up here on his lap. A little bit of a mistake coming through the second part of the bus stop chicane, and that's going to cost him a half a second there, but still an improvement. And it's going to be good enough to jump him up in one more spot to 14th position there, so an improvement's an improvement. We had Vieira here in 7th place as he comes across. I'm not sure if that was an improvement because we didn't quite have time to check out there, but that was some good racing right there. We got to go return. Let's go take a look at our qualifying lineup. So it is Rapid Duck in pole position with a 2:19.042. MX Bloxham will be in second with a 0.155 gap from the pole sitter. Johnny B in third. Lined up beside him will be Fluka. In row 3 will be GLR Seal and PP Yakast. In row 4 will be Videra and Jay Trapman. In row 5 will be Rigo, Z24, and Tango 2. In row 6 will be JDR and Dan SN. We have row 7 here will be Vic and Racing Hobo. In row 8 will be Bernie and Iris Jerry. In row 9 will be Choco and Delta Mike, and Scary Guy will be rounding out our field here tonight in 19th position. So we're going to sit on... Tango 2 is like a magnet for us at race start, isn't it? He always seems to be right in the middle of the pack in qualifying. So we're going to start on Tango 2's car here tonight, and he's going to take us through the race start here. So the real crucial moments here for red flag situations, especially at race starts, obviously going to be up Au Rouge, already on the Camel Straight into Lacombe for the first time. From there, the drivers will kind of start to settle themselves out. It'll be a little bit spicy and dicey through Brussels the first time as well. And as we head into Pouan the first time, the drivers should be a little more sorted out. Could still be a little bit dicey. So I think by the time we get through into the Paul Frere curve on the first lap, for the most part, hopefully these drivers will be all kind of single filed out and separated. And then if we can get through all that, we have to worry about, of course, that bus stop chicane. That's going to pile up for the field for the first couple of laps as well. And then, of course, turn 1, La Source is a huge bottleneck situation when you have 19 of these powerful big GT3 cars on the racetrack. Now, I mean, the racetrack can handle it. It's designed for racing. These guys handle F1 racing. I mean, these guys have raced everything on this racetrack, so it can take it for sure. But it's the drivers behind the wheel that really need to be cautious. I mean, it's a 1-hour endurance race here. You don't need to win it in the first lap. You just got to be patient. You want to stay safe in the first 5-10 minutes of the race. Really let your car come into the tune that you set into it, and then start to make your push, start to make your moves. So patience and consistency typically will pay off in endurance racing over necessarily just speed. Speed typically means drivers are on the edge, and it's a lot easier to make that small mistake, which essentially could turn into a much bigger mistake, especially on a track like Spa. Spa, again, a high-speed technical racetrack, but it rewards you when you get it right, and it rewards you with good positioning on the racetrack and great lap times. If you get it wrong, well, anything can happen. So, anything can happen. Alright, we're just going to go check on our platforms here, make sure everything's moving and grooving properly. Hope you're doing well. It's going to be a great race. Looking forward to watching. Appreciate you, Josh. Hey, how's it going, Racer 14? Oh, hey, it is what it is. Real life happens. Real life happens. Alright, so let's see what kind of race start we're going to see here tonight. We have 2.5 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen, so again, we got the low bit rate on the stream here apparently. Not sure why. Yo, how's it going, Josh? Hope you're doing fantastic over there on the GT45 Gaming YouTube as well. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're 2 minutes away from some crazy racing action. So the stipulation here for tonight is, of course, 1 mandatory pit stop like it normally is here with these 1 hour endurance races. Sometimes it's a different amount of stops depending on the track, the length of the race, but tonight it is a 1 mandatory pit stop, and fuel and tires are 100% optional. So they do have to stop. They can literally just stop and go if that's what they choose to do, or they can take a splash, change their tires, entirely up to them, but no pit requirements. The requirement is they do need to pit, so it will be a minimum stop and go pit stop sequence here from our drivers tonight. So that opens it up for a multitude of strategies. We're going to see some drivers go for a one-stop strategy depending on track conditions. Right now the track is technically on fast, so it's only starting now to get rubbered in, so which means you know, near early part of the race this track will become optimal, but it also means that near the end of the race this track will start to fall off optimal conditions, so as it gets rubbered in. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays in as drivers are starting to lose grip on their tires as well. So do you take tires? Do you take fuel? Do you only take, say, maybe half a tank of fuel to start the race? When you make your pit stop, you literally just take enough fuel load to get you to the end of the race and not change your tires. By doing that, that will eliminate a little extra wear and tear on your tires for sure, but you could get caught up in early battles, and that could change your fuel strategy, maybe change the amount of time in your pit stop. So there's so many different ways that this could go today. We're going to see drivers maybe pit right immediately at the beginning of the race, just get out in the clean air so they don't have to battle and worry about that. We're going to see some drivers take it right to the last lap that they have to pit, and pit right on the final lap and just try to hold their position. So what we're going to see is really going to be interesting, but it's going to be a varied set of strategies for sure here tonight, and it really is anybody's race to win. Like I said, Spa will reward you when you get it right, but when you get it wrong, it's going to make you pay the price. So it looks like we're going to get a rolling start as we're starting on the 24-hour layout here today. So turns 1 and 2 technically here at the race start will be Rouge already on, but the race will finish up after the bus stop chicane at the end of the night. So essentially they're getting a 1 corner less race distance here. Very interesting. So here we go. As you can see, all the drivers are leading out on the racetrack here now in a very controlled manner. Sorting each other out there for a second, so single file. So we're going to see a few different things here. We're going to see the cars moving back and forth, left to right. That is one way that they can try to build that tire temperature up into their racing cars. We'll see them speed up really hard and brake really hard a few times here and there in short or long distances, depending on what the car in front is doing as well. That's a good way to warm up the brakes. I know a little trick that I like to use here in a set of Corsa, especially in these short starts in the platform, is drag your brakes while you're in your formation lap in the double line. Once you get to double formation, just drag your brakes a little tiny bit with your acceleration. They warm up quite quickly. So there are a couple little tricks that you can do, of course, to help that out here on ACC, but for the most part, it's a very realistic simulated racing platform here as far as sim racing goes, and they do a great job at it. And you really do need to worry about things like tires. your tune, your camber, your toe, your aero, your brake balance, your traction control. Some drivers change that throughout the race. Some drivers change that from corner to corner on the racetrack, depending on which racetrack it is they're running, just to get what they want out of the car in that particular sector around the racetrack. So there's a lot of different things that the drivers are worrying about in behind the wheels of these race cars, and of course cooperation with their great teams and behind the wall in the paddock there and drain pit lane. But right now we're getting ready for a juicy race start. So we're on our 10th place driver, Tango 2 here currently. And he's about the mid-pack driver. So the reason why we do that here on ACC right now with our limited camera angles on the console compared to our PC mates there, is the best way to kind of watch the beginning and the ending part of the race. Try not to miss too much of anything that may or could happen during a race start. Again, they're starting these drivers up Rouge and already on and up through the Kemmel Straight. So we should see some pretty okayness up through that part to start this race today. But once we get into our first set of S's, Lacombe, then that's when things are going to get very interesting. There is runoff room there, thankfully, for drivers that just need to escape, and sometimes it's worth taking the track limit violation for, of course, not getting into a contact altercation with another car for not only the sake of that driver but your own car. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I'm always nervous at Spa, so on race start, no matter what league or what group of drivers it is that we're watching and broadcasting, it's just one of those tracks. You just never know what it's going to give you. You just never know what it's going to give you. Alright, so we're in the Paul Frere curve here now. So we're at about 2/3 point in the racetrack here. This is the highest speed sector of the racetrack, leading right up into that final set of corners, the bus stop chicane. So we've got a variety of cars. We got Ferraris, we got Lamborghinis, we got Porsches, we got Aston Martins, we got BMWs. It's gonna be an interesting race here tonight. Did I say Lamborghinis? I think I said Lamborghinis. We got Audis. That's the one I missed. I knew there was one I missed. Alright, so we're through Blois-Chaumont, and as I suspected, we're going to start lining up 2 by 2 here. So, let's get ready to do some racing here. So, the drivers got to navigate the bus stop chicane side by side here. That's the first test for these drivers on race start, and let's get ready to do some racing, ladies and gentlemen, as they're coming around the second part of the bus stop chicane here right now. And we got some speed control going on here. Whoa. Drivers are jostling back and forth a little bit as race control's trying to maintain the speed from these drivers. Alright, we got to get around what will be turn 1 after race start here. This right now is technically turn 20 on our formation lap, but will become turn 1 after this lap is complete. It's just a safety thing that they do here at Spa, and kudos to the engineers and the track officials here at Spa, because they worked very hard. They just went through a big facelift to make Rouge and the Kemmel Straight much safer for the racers. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kick them tires, light them fires. We're about to go racing. We're green. Race control is happy with what they're seeing, and here we go. Hey, we got a car disconnecting is what that looks like to me. Airborne. Gone. Alright, down to 19. You only see that thing on video games, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make that stuff up. Here we go, 2 and 3 wide here as we head up into the Kemmel Straight, heading into Lacombe. We're still sitting on with Tango 2 here. We don't even know what position he's in right now, as the live timing is all over the place. So heading into Lacombe for the first time, 2 by 2, and it looks like we're getting through pretty neat and tidy here. This is a GG's to the racing group so far, but we are far from over and out of danger here as we head into this downhill hairpin of Brussels now. A very, very downhill, hard 180-degree corner here. You got to take it easy. You got to be patient here. You got to really wait when you're going to get on the throttle, because again, these curves are slippery here in Spa. You have the rumble strip, which is all right to be on, but once you get past that rumble strip into that artificial grass curbing on the outside, that's when it gets a little bit dicey, especially on these colder racing tires here. So we had a good race start here, it looks like. from all the races. I have not seen the yellow flag come out on track yet. We do have a couple drivers up left in behind here, but again, that could be by design. So let's get through the field. We got PP Acast here in 5th place, MX Bloxham sitting in 2nd, Johnny B in 3rd, Luca in 4th. We got Jay Trapman there in behind in 6th. And now everybody, as we're heading in through campus for the first time and into the Paul Frere curves, is like I suspected, kind of starting to sort themselves out a little bit here. We don't have any immediate battles really happening right now. It looks like drivers are just staying patient here tonight and maybe waiting for the mistakes early on in the race for these drivers. So it did show a car up in the air, and I believe that was the car of Cass that we seen up in the air. He's still on the racetrack here, but he is blipping a little bit invisible from time to time here, and almost getting into the back end of number 3 driver Fluka there, but great avoidance there, and doesn't even lose any position. Keeps the momentum on the backside of Fluka here, and there we go. Start lap number... Oh, we are going to finish at the 24-hour layout here tonight, so turn 20 is the source here tonight. All right. Look at that. That makes a little more sense. I dig it. Side by side, in behind Fluka here, Trapman and PP Acast battling there for 5th and 6th place. And it is going to be Acast to hold down the position. Oh boy, and Fluka gets mad hard wrong coming up. Lorati on, and boy, that's a massive hit right there. From our 9th place driver. You can see him just swerving back and forth a little bit. They're probably a little bit shook it up. That was a big hit right there from our Ferrari driver, and he knows there's traffic coming. He's just trying to keep the car out of the way at this point. And oh, that was a tough hit right there from Fluka. Hopefully everything is okay. That was big. Those drivers are coming up 155 mile an hour coming up Laradion into the Camel Straight there, and when things go wrong, well, you've seen it firsthand, ladies and gentlemen. It goes wrong very quickly. A little bit of a snap moment from that Ferrari, and oh boy, he was just along for the ride there. We got Joko here in 15th, a little bit of damage on his racing car. We got Tango 2 down into 17th here, and we didn't see what happened to Tango 2 there. We just weren't paying attention apparently. Red reverse downforce, facts. PP Acast here in 5th place, and I believe that was the driver that we seen up in the air there at the race starts, so that was a little bizarre. It could have been Vic we saw actually too, as he's in pit lane here right now. Actually might have been Vic we saw, the car up in the air. We have Racing Hobo here in 11th place in that BMW. I think he's the only BMW on the field here right now too as well, so it's the only driver representing for our manufacturer here. I'm surprised he didn't get a meatball flag. GLR Seal here in 6th position. He's in that Porsche, looking real solid in that Porsche here as well. It was in the BMW last season, and held pretty strong in the mid-pack there as well throughout the season. He's a little bit more up in the higher part of the mid-pack here currently right now, sitting in 6th place out of, I believe, 19 drivers on track, 18 drivers left on track, I believe. So our pole sitter, Rapid Duck, is still currently leading this race here as we come around turn 20. The source here for the 2nd time here tonight, and to start lap 3, it is going to be Rapid Duck, and he is fastest man on the track right now with a 2:19.957, and that must have been on that 2nd lap there, so that was a pretty good lap. Johnny B here is in 3rd place right now. MX Bloxham just up ahead of him. You can see the number 2 on Johnny B's car there signaling. He finished in 2nd place last season. He was defending champion. He's a little sour about it, and he said he's coming back for his trophy here this season. So right now he is right tucked in behind our current championship trophy holder here right now, MX Bloxham. Teammates in real life here as well, so it makes for some extra interesting racing. Ooh, we got a Lamborghini off in the background there. Jay Trapman making a mistake there. He's going to lose a couple of positions, 2 for sure, maybe even 3. Made a mistake there, and just great racing awareness, trying not to force that car back on track with flying traffic coming around him. We got some smart racers on the track here tonight. Dan SN here, he's having a great race in his debut, sitting in 8th place here currently. He's in that McLaren here as well, and he's looking very solid right now. JDR is chasing 2 seconds in behind. Irish Jerry here, he's in 12th place right now, and we haven't seen any shenanigans coming from Irish Jerry here at any point, so he's just having a good, solid, clean race right now. And a little bit of a gap, 3.6 seconds to the cars up in front, but this is Spa. Anything can happen. You just got to keep putting your paces in. A little bit of damage on the side, right side of that car I'm noticing there too as well. So maybe a little bit of contact early on in the race. We got Rigo here in 6th position now. And we got Seroder Vieira, I believe is kind of something like that. I hope so. I apologize if it's wrong. Sitting in 7th place, just in behind. So Rigo in 6th, Seal just up ahead in 5th, and we got Vieira here in 7th place. So a great 3-way battle right now here for this position between these 3 drivers. And we're going to stick with our middle driver here currently in that Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. He's chasing that Porsche 99. I believe it's 993, and he's got that Ferrari 296 in behind. So 3 different manufacturers all battling for 5th, 6th, and 7th place here currently. We say battling, but we don't see him actually physically battling for that position. But it's not for lack. These drivers are not they're not here for a Sunday drive. They're definitely here to try and win a race. So at some point, if they can gain a point where they can try and make a move, which we'll definitely see the battling start. But you can see all 3 of these drivers are really starting to get tight together here. So it's going to be battle ensuing quite soon, I suspect, for these drivers as we start lap 4. 3? I'm pretty sure it's lap 4. I think our counter's a little off here. Alright, so the Porsche getting a little bit of a run up the Kemmel Straight there. So Seal getting a little bit of a gap. Not much, though. 1 second, just enough to keep these cars barely out of the tow. It's side by side here from Rigo and Vieira now as they come through Lacombe. And that's some great racing right there by those 2 drivers. Huge amount of respect shown between the 2 cars. Are given lots of racing room. And it is battle on. I told you it was going to be battle on as we head into Brussels. He takes a look. Nope, he's not going to make a move there. He's not close enough, but he's just trying to psych the driver out. Get that nose in some clean air. Get that car to turn in. And the objective here is not to lose the taillights of that Lamborghini at this moment. To keep the pressure on him. Either try to force him to open up a corner so you can get inside and make the move, or get a run and get up inside position for the next set of corners. And that's exactly what he's trying to do here right now. But Rigo's doing a fantastic job currently in this Lamborghini, holding off the charge of that Ferrari here in 7th place. We're going to stick with this here for a minute. This is a great healthy battle on the racetrack. We've got plenty of racing left to go and lots of racing action that we can catch here yet today. But I agree, poor Fluka, that was a very tough hit. So we'll see if the crew can get that car back out of the racetrack. There's going to be some pretty significant damage on that racing Ferrari here tonight for Fluka. Alright, so going a little bit wide there was Rigo. That could be a track violation there from our racing stewards. It's hard to say. They might just give him a warning. It depends if they feel like he gained an advantage in time and speed when they do break the track limits there. So I'm not sure if that's up to race control to make that call, but they'll definitely be looking at that here from Rigo. So again, like I said, I believe it's 3 or 4 track limit violations here. Race control is going to make you pay the price for that, and you do not want to pay the price here at Spa with a driver penalty. It is one of the longest pit lanes in the business. Alright, so we got a little bit of a gap here between these drivers. Let's go take a look, see what's happening the rest of the way through our field here. We've got JDR and Jay Trapman here in 9th and 10th. We've seen Trapman there, the one Lamborghini in distress there a little bit, made a bit of a mistake there. And we've actually got, I think, a Lamborghini Evo 2 and a regular Lamborghini there up against each other potentially, but still a great battle brewing here between our 9th and 10th place drivers, and that's what we get with big racing grids like this. You get a little bit of separation, sometimes you get a little bit of chaos for sure with so many cars on the track, but you always end up with great battles all along the racetrack. We got a slow moving Aston there on the right side. He's getting out of the way, letting those guys go by. That was a great job there. Blue flag marker coming down from our flagman there, and that was great awareness there. Oh, and an outside move as we head into the Lacombs, and boy, he's going to pay the price, and oh, he is going to collect up JDR in the process. And oh, an ambitious, bold move on the outside, and both Lamborghinis are going to pay the price with damage there. So JDR is just trying to get that car back on track safely here, trying not to interfere with the guys and gals coming in behind here. And Tango 2 is just going to settle in behind 13th here. So both those Lamborghinis getting a little too close there, and Elbow's a little too scrappy there, and unfortunately for JDR, they're paying the price. So just got collected up as the other driver just tried to keep control of the car there, and nowhere for JDR to go. So we'll have to see if he just runs it out here with that damage. Oh, and the Aston Martin gets out into the marbles, heading into Pouon, and boy, oh boy, some of these drivers showing their woes here at Spa. Let's see what else we got here. We got Vieira and Rigo still battling it out here, and we got GLR just up ahead of these drivers. The gap is only 1.2 seconds, so that Porsche has not been able to get away from this Lamborghini or Ferrari driver here, having a little mini battle here and there when that Ferrari catches up, and then they sort themselves back out. So nothing really seriously doing here right now, but some good battling right now here between these two drivers. 6th and 7th place and 5th eventually. Oh, and look at the gain coming through the bus stop chicane, and that's going to be a run from the Ferrari driver here. It was very close right there as he tried to make that avoidance. He may have made contact and pushed the Lamborghini a bit wide there, and I think we seen him let up on the throttle and give that position back. So that's again very close, very close. Too close for us to call here on a visual basis based off of what we could see here from the booth, but definitely some great racing, some very, very hard door-to-door racing happening here between these two drivers right now, and it's been fantastic to watch. They're stealing the show right now. We've got Choco here in 15th position. Oh, we got Beamer here up and in distress coming up into the bus stop chicane. Racing Hobo struggling a little bit there. Tango 2 here in 11th place, and he has Irish Jerry right up in behind him here in his green McLaren. So it's McLaren versus Ferrari here. Let's stick with this. This is battle for position as well. This is 10th and 11th place drivers. And everywhere we're going right now, we're seeing some battles. Hard move, 10 minutes in. Oh, I agree. It was bold. It was bold. Risk versus reward. Sometimes it's not the reward, you know. That's racing. That's racing. That's the way it goes. And Tango 2 here in 11th position, and he pulled up good there through Rouge on up the Keppel Straight as he heads into the cone there. He pulled a nice little tidy cushion on Irish Jerry there, but boy, he almost lost the back end of that Ferrari there, and that is going to allow Irish Jerry to pull right back in a little bit. So tense moments here early on in Spa from these drivers. We got PP Akas here currently sitting in the 4th position. We've got Rapid Duck in 1st, MX Bloxham in 2nd, and Johnny B in 3rd. It is top 3 McLaren right now, and 10 seconds to gap to the later here right now from 4th place. We've seen a car go deep off in the background there, heading into the bus stop there as well. So it's the drivers struggling a little bit here with Spa today. Must have been Seal as Rigo and Vieira now up in the 5th and 6th place. GLR Seal must have been the car we've seen making the mistake off in the background there. And our number 555 Porsche driver here finds himself down 2 spots now, chasing the 2 that were chasing him. So back on his horse, and then away he goes. It does look like he avoided any contact, however. I don't see any damage on his racing car, so if there is a plus in a self-induced mistake, that is definitely the plus. The lead battle, yeah, as soon as we can get to it. There we go. Rapid Duck here. Not really a battle right now. These guys trying to maintain pace. It looks like here we got Rapid Duck up in the lead. MX Bloxham is 2.8 seconds in behind, and Johnny B is tucked just in behind. Let's get to Johnny B here, a 3rd place driver. Production crew is on it. The viewers ask, and the production crew shall show. Johnny B here currently is tucked in behind, so let's sit with 2nd and 3rd place here for a minute. Again, it's really on between these two, but the wild card, especially in this series this season, is definitely going to be that driver currently leading this race in 1st place, Rapid Duck. He's shown incredible pace in past seasons here, and it seems like he just makes that one mistake every race that seems to hurt him, but he is pretty determined here. When we talked to him at the end of last season as well, as he was kind of running his paces with McLaren, getting some early testing in before the season, so he opted to drop all his earned championship points in like round 7 and change his car to the McLaren just to get that early testing, get that feeling behind the wheel of that new manufacturer that he's jumped into here for this season, and it's paying off as he's currently leading the race from pole position here right now. But Johnny B, 1.3 seconds in behind MX Bloxham here, so MX Bloxham showing a little bit of pace here right now currently on the racetrack, but we also don't know what the strategy of these drivers is. We don't know how much fuel they started with. We don't know if they plan on taking fuel, if they plan on taking tires. We have no idea what these drivers are going to do here. Again, our strategy requirement tonight is 1 mandatory stop no requirements besides that. So it will be a stop and go if that's what they decide to choose, basically. Or maybe they set it up like I said earlier in the broadcast. Maybe they got a half a tank of fuel. They're just going to do a fuel stop while they're in there real quick, top off the tank. That keeps the car a little bit lighter, should keep it a little bit faster, should keep the tire wear down just that much more. That might be the route I would go personally. That's kind of my jam, is keeping my tires underneath me so I have something at the end of the race if I'm in a position to push. But these are smart race car drivers, so what they're deciding, I don't know. We didn't see anybody pit early on to clear that pit stop. JDR has cleared his pit stop, and that may have been due to, of course, that incident he was involved in coming into Lacombe up off the Camel Straight there. But other than that, we didn't see the early stop, so we still may see that last lap pit stop here from some of these drivers. And we're going to see that from any of the drivers. Potentially our leading pack could be those drivers who pull that strategy off. We got Dan SN here, first race of the season, his debut here, to the best of my knowledge, period, here with the Infinite Racing League as far as our Sunday series goes, and having a great performance here. He's got that red tag, so a rookie AM driver, so to speak. You see bronze on his car there, but having a good race here. He looks very comfortable in that McLaren, and he's putting in some good solid laps here. Irish Jerry up into 11th place, got a little bit of damage on that rear aero package here on his McLaren here right now, but doesn't seem like it's too worse for wear. He's still putting down some good times here. Let's see what he has here as he comes around this time around. Maybe the damage affecting that car. Here we go, side by side, Ferrari versus Lamborghini, and it's still on like Donkey Kong between these two. Boy, what a battle these two are having. Vieira and Rigo side by side as we go through Lacombe heading down into Brussels, and they're still side by side. This is some great racing right here, and there we go. Vieira's going to get the job done this time around. Boy, oh boy, he tried it last time. He couldn't quite get the job done, but boy, he sure made it stick this time. And the Ferrari finally overtakes that Lamborghini driver here, but I suspect that this is far from over. That was great battling and great respect again shown by these two racers right there. That is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. GG's. Beautiful battle right there for about two and a half laps between these drivers, and ooh, that gets the heart pumping, doesn't it? That gets the heart pumping. You think you just take fuel? Yeah, that's kind of where I would be leaning, I think, too. We've got Jay Trapman here in 15th position. I'm a bit of an ACC noob, though, so that might not necessarily be the right call, but it makes sense in my brain. So we got Jay Trapman here in 15th position. Lamborghini driver here. He started off really great here. He's had just some early race struggles, but with 41 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock here, he has lots of time to make all that up. JDR cleared that pit stop due to a racing incident earlier on. He's currently in 14th and 19th, but he has cleared that pit stop. He does not necessarily need to stop here for the rest of the race. That could pay dividends for him in some positions gained later on in the race, potentially. Scary Guy here is in 11th position. He's also in the Lamborghini, and looks like he's doing pretty good here so far. We got Race at Hobo and the BMW in behind. There he is. There's our Audi driver, Bernie. I was wondering where our Audi driver was. Camera crew hasn't been showing the man any love here yet tonight. He's in no man's land right now, and honestly, he's in 9th place. He's got Jay Trapman in 15th up ahead of him, a non-positional car. That's 10 seconds ahead. So the next positional car for him is 12.3 seconds up the road, and the next one in behind is 24 seconds in behind. So I mean, he's not in a bad spot necessarily either at this point, this early in the race. He's got top 10 right now. He's got a huge cushion and a lot of open air. So this driver's focus really should be lock it in right now, really put down some tidy, neat, fast laps, and try to strive for some consistency here. He may have a shot at a good finish here tonight. Delta Mike here in 18th, and you can see that Aston Martin here has got a little bit of damage on the side skirting on the right side there, a little bit rear. He's been having a little bit of a struggle here, this driver tonight. Aston Martin just not quite agreeing with him here. Maybe a little bit of a mistakes in the setup there, but seems like now he's got it a little bit sorted out. So that's good to see there. We got Fluke after a massive incident, so yeah, there we go. Obviously the driver is A-okay after that. A huge slam into the wall out of Laurentian very early on in the race, and you can see the car is looking fine there, but I'm sure there's still signs of that absolutely huge hit into the racing wall. What was that? I believe lap 3 or 4 there. So just glad to see the racers okay, and hey, good job to the crew to get that car pieced back together and get it back out on what, lap 6, so like 10 minutes later. That is a GG's right there. Alright, Vieira here now sitting in 5th place, having a great battle with Rigo there just a little bit earlier on, and that's the second time now we've seen the Lamborghini driver go really wide heading into the Paul Frere curve there. He's going to want to watch how many times he does that here. Race control is going to start not thinking that it's so funny at some point to start handing out track violations. We got Choco here in 16th position there. That, ooh, what a big slide. Oh, you hate to see it. Coming out through the campus middle sector there, and boy, another driver with a hard hit. He realizes there's some traffic coming around there. Got a Lamborghini and a BMW coming through there. Oh boy, and look at the front end of that Ferrari. Well, it needs a facelift. Ouch, that car is pretty banged up and twisted up here. That's going to be a handful here for Choco. We've got Tango 2 here, his Ferrari coming down pit lane slowly here as well. And oh boy, Spa is not... It's got his teeth out today. It has its teeth out today. And I said, it's not necessarily going to be about speed around this racetrack. It's going to be about consistency and keeping the car safe. Did I not at the beginning of this race? The drivers that have done that are so far being rewarded. We got Rapid Duck, Bloxham, Johnny B, PP Acast here in 4th place. They've been having good, clean, efficient races. They kept the cars out of trouble. They're being rewarded in the front of the pack here right now. Vieira still being rewarded. He's just had some spicy battling happening here, but man, it hasn't been some good, tidy racing from him. Very well-earned position where he's in right now, sitting in 5th place. We've got Racing Hobo here, and he's just having an off day here today too. Spa really making him pay the price here. He's just trying to get into pit lane there. As you can see, he's nursing that car through. Oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. GLR Seal here, he's had a good race. He just made a couple of mistakes, and now we see some damage here on the front end of that Porsche racing car as well. So, still got it out on track, so he didn't do any damage to the radiator. Now, the radiators in these mid-rear engine cars, the Porsches especially, are in kind of a fragile spot in these racing cars. They're just underneath the headlights up in behind that front fender in front of the wheels. And it really doesn't take much of a hard hit to create an issue with these radiators, especially in these Porsche racing cars. So front end damage always a big concern for these Porsche teams when it does happen on these racing cars. But so far it does look like the car is handling it well. It doesn't seem like it is struggling at all due to overheating. We don't see any fluid coming out from the bottom of the car, but we definitely see some damage on the front end of that Porsche from GLR Seal there. Now, things are kind of starting to stir up a little bit here, it looks like, in our front pack. Here we got Rapid Duck still in the lead of this race, but only 2.4 seconds now from MX Bloxham and Johnny B chasing him behind. So this is a pretty tidy train of racers here right now as we head down La Source to start lap 10. And up into Eau Rouge and Laurentian and up to Kemmel Straight here for the 10th time today. The number 48 green McLaren still leading the charge here. But boy, he's starting to see those two gold McLarens starting to kind of close in behind here. MX Bloxham and Johnny B here, you know, they're very, very familiar with each other as drivers. Again, like I said, teammates. Oh, and a spin there from Rapid Duck. That's going to put him off track, and that's going to cost him a racing lead, maybe? I believe so, as I believe Bloxham... Whoa, what happened there? We still got Duck here in first place. Bloxham here in second and Johnny B in third. Wow, okay. I fully suspected the second and third place would take over the lead there, but we're not sure how all that broke down, but we'll take it. So Rapid Duck still in first, Bloxham in second, and Johnny B here in third. We don't have a replay function yet. Bear with chat, the console will get there. Maybe they checked up to make sure they didn't make contact with that driver, or maybe there was contact with that driver heading into the sector, and that's the reason why the driver's checked up. I'm not 100% sure, but it just looked like he just lost back into the car under braking there and then just lost the corner. But really surprised that the two lead drivers up front didn't take advantage of that. Very surprised. Alright, so our third place driver Johnny B here, what is he, 0.6 seconds currently in behind Bloxham here, and only half a second loss from Rapid Duck essentially there from that mistake. So I'm very perplexed about what I see in there. Alright, we got Dan We got Dan here in 7th position, moving up a couple of one spot since the last time we were talking on this driver here, and just cool, calm, and collected as this driver. He's remained very consistent. He's got a 2-second gap to Delta Mike up in front. That is a blue flag car. His next positional car is only 3.7 seconds up the road, so from there it's DLR Sealing behind in 8th place, and that is 12.8 seconds in behind, so he doesn't need to worry about that car chasing in behind here right now. We have seen, of course, that Porsche with the damage on the front end of that car here as well, so that could mean that that damage is injured, and our car is injured, maybe not up to full race pace here currently on the racetrack as well. So Dan needs to focus on Rigo up in 6th place there, 4.5 seconds up the road here now as he comes to our final corner of the source here. And I think that the race has reset itself now to the other start-finish line here as we come up the track. They should be starting lap 12 here as he comes down the straight here, and they're not. So the start-finish line has again moved over into the end of the bus stop chicane like I suspected it would. I was just a little perplexed, I guess. Easy to do sometimes. Rigo here in 6th place still. He was having an absolutely beautiful battle with Vieira up in front. Now Vieira has opened that gap up to about 2.6 second gap here currently, but has not really been able to shake the Lamborghini of Rigo either. Trapman here in 12th place, and just he's kind of on his own right now. He's doing his thing. Ooh, big slide here from JDR as he comes through. Back up into 10th place here, so almost back up into where he was when the incident occurred on the racing track here. And again, he has cleared that pit stop as well. So we have the Audi driver Bernie in behind at the Audi, 3.1 seconds behind there as well. Cleared his pit stop, and Irish Jerry with a cleared pit stop there as well. What else? We got Racing Hobo Tango 2, both with cleared pit stops. So some strategies starting to come into play, some forced, some chosen, I'm sure. Scary Guy currently sitting in 9th place right now in the Lamborghini, still owes a pit stop to clear. Fluka is in behind in 16th position. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Thanks for hanging out with me there, chat. Ooh, tense moments in the brain. Alright, Scary Guy here. So Fluka, we know, is a pacey driver, but again, we also seen that car take a massive hit into the right-hand side wall out of La Radion at the top of the Camel Straight. Car just snapped on the poor driver, and he was along for the ride. Boy, it was a rough ride. So the fact that they even got that car on the track driving in a straight line is incredible. So definitely feeling the effects of that maybe as that driver, but you know, a huge round of applause for him. Still here and still racing and still trying to collect whatever points he can salvage here in today's race. But he is gaining on the Lamborghini up in front of him there of JDR a little bit there. Alright, we got Delta Mike. He's in pit lane here in the Aston Martin. We've got Fluka, who we were just talking about here in 16th. Sorry, Scary Guy, that was in front of him, my mistake. It almost looks like he's going to try and make a move on him here and unlap himself, and that is, he's going to go up the inside as we head into the entry of the Paul Frere curve here, and he's actually going to take that position away from Scary Guy, our 9th place driver. So Fluka getting his lap back from our 9th place driver. Ooh, what a big moment there in behind from Scary Guy as he got a little bit wide into the corner. And hitting a sausage curb exit on the way out there. You can see the back end of that Lamborghini bouncing violently upon hitting that curb, so he did a great job to keep the car underneath of him there. Choco here in 17th position. Ferrari is, well, it's straightened back out here a little bit, so they must have put a nice new front clip on that racing car, but boy, oh boy, that was definitely a tough hit we've seen from him as well, head first into the wall. Just coming out of campus heading in towards the Paul Frere entry curve. So Tango 2 here in 15th position. He's had a little bit of a tough race. We didn't see what happened to him the first time around on the racetrack there, but a couple of moments here and he's had to go in and fix some damage. We've got the PP Adcast here in 8th place now, making his pit stop, so he's clearing that stop up. Got Racing Hobo with a cleared pit stop, 13th position in that BMW here currently, and just not a lot happening currently at the racetrack. You know, we're midway through the race. That's typically the case here. The races have settled in. They're starting to spread out. Pit strategies are starting to kind of come into play, which is essentially spreading the field out currently. When all of the pit stop sequence is completed, it'll start to tighten up some of those gaps, and we'll probably start to see some battles developing here near the end part of the race again. But mid part of the race, pretty typical stuff we're seeing here. And here, the first, second, and third place is just a train of drivers not wanting to lose any time on the next driver, not give any time up to the driver in behind. Right now, Rapid Duck's losing that battle as he has only less than a second gap on MX Blocks and currently sitting here in second place at the moment. So these drivers are playing nice right now. Like I said, it's pace management here for these three drivers. They're all very quick. They're all very equally paced. They're all fairly familiar with each other. They all drive together, outside of competitive measures as well. So very, very familiar with each other's driving styles. When this finally decides to kick off, it's going to be a doozy without a question of a doubt. Rapid Duck 0.7 seconds now blocks him on him, and then from there it's only half a second to Johnny B. So the first and third place separated from by a second, basically nose to nose right now as we come around the racetrack here, and we're heading in through, I believe, Buon here right now, heading into campus on lap 13. So the gap from here to the next driver is quite significant at this point. These three drivers have opened it up quite a bit on the field here as they're coming around. So, and again, that's due to a lot of the field starting to make pit stops in behind them, so they've gained that extra time in the pit lane as well on the racetrack currently on those drivers, so they have a half a lap in hand, so to speak. MX and Johnny B going just a hair wide there. I'm not sure where race control is considering that track limit here, so we're only speculating when we see some of these guys go really wide that they're probably being, at least as being looked at by race control. Those were pretty, I wouldn't say those were track infractions there. They had two tires still on that racing curve, so on the edge for sure, but definitely not track cuts there in my opinion anyways. But here we go, MX blocks him, closes it up on a Rapid Duck, and he's going to get the run here. Rapid Duck goes a little bit wide as he gets on throttle there. Again, maybe just a small amount of contact between the two drivers, but Rapid Duck's just holding out here right now as they come into La Source to start lap 14. So turn one here, and blocks him, is looking for the run here. He just cannot get it on our race leader right now. Boy, here we go. This battle may be kicking off right here, right now in front of our eyes. We're not going to leave it at the moment. This is for first, second, and third place in this race. And Johnny B right now, he's chilling. He's just kind of sitting back here. Blocks him getting a very lot of curb coming up already on there, and that may have the attention of race stewards here as well. So they're coming up on one of our Ferrari drivers there, and he absolutely just got out of the way. He was like, nope, yeah, you guys go ahead. We're not going to get involved with this here. And very healthy battle, three-way battle for the racing lead here at the 26.5 minute mark right now. So this has been kind of developing all race long, and it's starting to kick off here. These drivers are really starting to close in on each other. So I guess now the bigger question is, when are they going to make their pit stop, and what is it that they are going to do when they make that pit stop? Taking a look at some racing information, just getting an idea what's happening here. Got Bloxham in second, we got Johnny B in third. I don't want to leave this. The moment I get the camera crew to change the angle, we're going to see or miss something great happen up in front here for sure. You know, Duck is aware. Duck is 100% aware that Bloxham and Johnny B are right there. You can tell in all the lines. You can tell as they come through the Paul Frere curve. Again, all three of these drivers on the absolute limit as they're now catching up to Rigo, our 7th place driver on the racing track. So, again, I really do suspect we're going to see a very late pit stop come from these three drivers. It all depends on how, the next few laps continue on for these three as they are getting very close together and starting to kind of try and battle for the racing lead here. But Rapid Duck gets a good run through the bus stop chicane there. He has a little bit of help potentially up in front of him right now from Rigo. It was slipstream help, so that's going to pull Rapid Duck a little closer to the Lamborghini and a little further away from the two McLarens in behind. But at some point we assume that Rapid Duck is going to get around this driver. How easy is Rigo going to make it for Rapid Duck? Well, it's hard to say. He does have the right to fight for that lead lap position as well, right? If he decides that, if he thinks he's got the pace and he can stay ahead of that racing leader, then fight for that position. But for the most part, typically the guys just they battle until they know they can't hold it, and then they just give it up in a safe manner. So let's see what happens here as we're, again, with our racing leader Rapid Duck. I know there's plenty probably going on in the background here at the moment, but we just want to stick with this here. This lap car, essentially, or potential lap car here pretty soon, is potentially going to factor into what happens in our top three here currently on the racetrack. So again, this is a risk versus reward situation for these three. They're in the middle of a three-way battle for the racing lead in all three podium spots. They come up on a slower car or an out-of-sequence car in pit stops, and they got to decide when and how to try and navigate around that car. Clearly he's got pace, as he's still staying ahead of our race leaders here right now. They're not closing in quickly on this driver by any stretch of the imagination, but he's definitely there. And that racing crew is definitely on the radio, making him aware that, hey, you know, those guys are in a pretty active three-way battle. You know, your call. Just letting you know, they're closing in, they're coming. And right now, he's not shaken by it at all. He's sticking to that. He's sticking to the racing line here, and he's just going to keep putting in his laps. So, interesting. I can't. Oh, there we go. We got Duck going a little bit wider than the other two in behind that time around. But again, in my opinion, still maintaining track limits there. Oh boy, this is. When is this going to kick off? When is it? That's the moment I switch off of it is when it's going to kick off, and we all know it. Come on now. How's it going? Hi, people. Hope you're doing fantastic over there on the IRL YouTube, my dude. I see you over there, my guy. I do see you guys over there. I see you all. We appreciate all that support. All right, so, oh, there we go. It looks like Rigo either just got out of the way, or he ducked into pit lane there. So our race leader's not having to worry about it. Nope, he's just got out of the way here. So he's doing his best just to let the three guys go by without costing his own race. You can see him tuck right back in behind Johnny B there in third place. Smart driving right there by Rigo in, what is that, I believe, 6th place right now. Johnny B here in 3rd place. 7th place Rigo, pardon me. We got MX Bloxham here in 2nd. We've got Dan here in 8th place. So a little give, a little take, a little give, a little take here right now. Irish Jerry's in 14th position, I believe, started in 12th. So not too far off the beaten path here, but you can see that hood not looking so secure there right now. So a little bit of front end damage on that Ferrari there as well. Rigo, who we just seen locked in with the race leaders, absolutely barreling down on him there. Did a great job there for about 2/3 of a lap, and then finally realized that, yeah, I'm not going to keep these guys behind me, so I'm just going to get the position up at the end of the lap. That was some great driving right here by Rigo. And I mean, right now, you know, you got to think about Driver of the Day awards. If we had them here, it would definitely be thinking of Rigo, and we would definitely be thinking about Vieira. So far, those are the two drivers that definitely stand out in my mind here to tonight's race. We got JDR here in 9th position. We've got Scary Guy out here in 12th. We've got Bernie in 10th position. Delta Mike here in 17th. We've got Fluka in 15th. Massive hit into the wall by this driver here. And speaking of, we got Vera just coming in for that pit stop from 4th position. We were just talking about this particular driver. Absolutely great racing, battling with Rigo for a significant portion of the early part of this race, and boy, side by side, tight racing from those two drivers. It was extremely fun to watch. Got PB Adcast here in 6th position in that red Ferrari here. You can see lots of bugs out on the racetrack there. That bug deflector definitely picking up some of the little flying monsters here around the racetrack. Again, surrounded by mountains and trees here, so, well, you're gonna get bugs. We got Racing Hobo here in 13th position in the BMW, and again, the only BMW on track here. We've got GLR Seal coming into pit lane from 5th place here, now getting that Porsche serviced as well, clearing his pit stop. Rapid Duck comes around in 1st place, and oh boy, here we go, Johnny B and MX Bloxham closing up here now. I don't know if that was necessarily a battle for 2nd place there, but you can see Johnny B was on the inside, aka I guess, coming through the corner of MX Bloxham there, but wasn't able to get a move done. I don't think he was trying to make a move. I think he was just trying to get clean air and not make contact with the driver on the front. But again, this is massive for Rigo right now. Rigo's just sitting in behind these guys, and he can just stay in that slipstream of Johnny B right now in 3rd place. I mean, he can literally just chill in behind these the race leaders here and let these guys pull him up to the 5th place driver, and it very well might help him gain more positions if he gets in the slip of these faster drivers. So he's got his work cut out for him to keep up with these guys clearly, but he's doing a great job back there right now and behind our 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place driver. Dan in his debut race here too. I mean, he could be a candidate for a Driver of the Day award vote if we had such a thing here right now too in the series. You know, debut race here, first time that I've seen him anyways, and just having a good, solid, consistent race here. He's got 4.9 seconds to Rigo up in front in 7th place, and he's got a huge cushion from JDR in 9th there of 12 seconds in behind. So he's having a good, solid, consistent, safe race, and I mean, really, that is important here in endurance racing. Get the car to the checkered flag. Alright, so Rigo in 7th here. This driver, he's been battling hard tonight for sure. Oh, we got Trapman there, and we got him just correcting himself after a mistake here on the racing track. And he's comfortable that there's nobody coming around the corner. He's going to get back on and get that car fired to get it going again. So back on track and continuing on there. This driver's struggling with Spa here tonight. That surprises me a little bit. Spa's a great racetrack. I expected there to be lots of experience here on the racetrack, but it's still grinning, bearing those teeth here today. Alright, so this is a battle for position as well. This is 9th and 10th place. We got JDR in the Lamborghini. Absolutely taking a whole lot of exit there. And the Audi right there in 10th place chasing. There's no race controls. Most certainly going to be taking a look at that exit there on that driver. Sometimes they'll be forgiving in avoidance, you know, if he's avoiding potential collision from the car, maybe on the inside, but that wasn't the case there. He just absolutely just feeling the pressure from that Audi in behind, and I think that he just went a little bit wider than he needed to there. Manages to hold the position for the time being, but as I said, I'm sure race control is definitely going to be taking a look at that one, as he's clearly on the move here. He's opened up an immediate gap of 1 second on that driver since. Scary guy here now in 12th place after clearing that pit stop, so not bad taking that pit stop here, a very long pit stop, and only dropping 3 positions from when he went in 9th place. Got Delta Mike here sitting in 17th. He's looking like that car is being looked at here by the crew. He's been sitting there for quite some time here now in the race, and potential mechanical failure here for the Aston Martin driver today, and that car could be done here today. Alright, Vieira here in 4th place, went into pit lane in 4th place, came out of pit lane in 4th place. Driver has a very good pace here as well. Kind of in no man's land here right now, though. The next nearest car closest to him to try and battle him for that position is Giacast, who's 13.2 seconds in behind. And the nearest positional car up in front is, well, at least 40 seconds up ahead here currently right now. But again, those drivers, a pit stop here still. Alright, so Giacast, 5th place driver. He is cleared his pit stop. And what's his gap here right now? He's got 12 seconds to Vieira, so about a minute to the race leaders, perhaps? You know, if I had to guess. If I had to guess, that is, of course. So who are we with here? Racing Hobo here, our BMW driver in 13th position, and again, much of the same thing here for him. The next positional car is 38 seconds up the road here currently. That driver has cleared their pit stop as well. So we just got to keep moving and grooving and see what happens here. We've got GLR Seal in 6th position. Rigo is closing in here in 7th. So that Lamborghini is right on the chase of the Porsche driver here right now, and it's half a second, basically a car length. They were separating these two cars right now for this battle for 7th and 6th position. Looks like Fluke is in pit lane potentially there. Oh, there we go. We got the Aston Martin driver coming back out. So it looks like the team sorted out the problem from that car there, and he's back out on track. So credit to the racing teams in pit lane today. Hey, they are solving problems and getting drivers back out. Oh wow, you know, they don't get enough recognition sometimes. I mean, they're the heart and soul of racing. I mean, without them, we don't have running race cars to drive on the racetrack. So, whew, the teams, they working hard this season. GLR Seal here in 6th place, he still got that damage on the front end of the Porter, so clearly not really affecting that racing car that much. He's cleared the pit stop. He could have fixed the damage. Ooh, he locks up a little bit there. He had a moment there, had to lock it up to save the car, and that's going to be Rigo moving up into 6th place there. So Rigo didn't have to do much there, but just be close enough to take advantage of that mistake, and that's exactly what happened there. That was a great save, though, however, from Rigo. Had to lock that car up to get that car to stay in a straight line, and then somehow managed to free that thing back up and get it accelerating again, keeping it out of the wall there. That was a close call here for GLR Seal, and the worst case scenario is it cost him about a second and a half in a position, so still in the fight though for 6th place here right now. Ooh, it always gets spicy near the end of the race. Alright, so we've got Johnny B has made a pit stop here. It looks like we see him out of the back of this pack here. So Johnny B has cleared his pit stop, and now it's down to Rapid Duck and MX blocks him in the front drivers that still need to clear those pit stops. So the bigger question is where did Johnny B come out in comparison, and how much longer are these guys going to continue to stay out for before they opt to make their pit stop there? Bloxham looked like he had a little bit of extra speed coming in the slipstream there, and took a really wide braking line into the bus stop chicane there, and I think that was a collision avoidance measure right there by MX Bloxham. As we're just getting ready to end lap 19 there, again, just didn't want to hit the leader there, and sacrificing his own race in a sense to make sure that didn't happen. And it cost him a little bit of time, so he won't be happy about it, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, both drivers are still moving and grooving up the racetrack. So Johnny B still in 3rd place here, and how far back is he from the leaders? About a minute perhaps. We've got Irish Jerry there in behind, so Bloxham here in 2nd. We got Dan, Jerry, Rigo, Trapman. Let's try to find a driver that hasn't gotten a lot of love here so far tonight. We got Scary Guy here in 12th place. He was running, what was he running last season? I think he was running the Audi last season. Has opted to go with the Lamborghini Evo here, so looking good though. I mean, sitting at 12th place here right now. He didn't qualify to the best of my knowledge, and having a pretty good race. Got Bernie here in that Audi, and currently sitting in 10th, so holding down the top 10 spot here right now. Trapman's about 40 seconds behind us, the next positional driver chasing. I'm just trying to determine that time from Johnny B to the race leaders here right now, and we're at least at a minute. Got that Aston, again, that Aston Martin still struggling here on the racetrack. We got Fluka in 15th. We got Vieira here in 4th place. So it looks like about 45 seconds, 46 seconds to Johnny B in behind, who's cleared his pit stop. So I don't know if he's going to be able to gain positions over pit stop strategy here, as Johnny B is a lot closer to the race leaders right now than 4th place driver Vieira is. Choco here in 16th position. He's gained a spot since the last time we're hanging out with our boy Choco. He's in that nice pink, gray, and white Ferrari 296 here as well. PB Acast having a great race here in 5th place right now. Vieira almost 10 seconds up ahead here. He's got Racing Hobo just up in front here. Lap down car in between him and the next positional car. We've got GLR Seal here in 7th position. Was having a great battle there with Rigo for a little bit, but then made a mistake, and Rigo took full advantage of that mistake, and now has that gap up to 2.5 seconds up in front of this driver. That means Dan is coming from in 8th place, and he's only 2.9 seconds in behind GLR Seal here currently. So GLR Seal bleeding just a little bit of time here currently on this track. We've got Rapid Duck in the lead still. He's been chilling. We've seen a mistake from this driver here tonight. Very rare we see the big mistake from this driver. But it didn't cost him the race leads, and he's just holding on to it. As, again, Second place driver MX Bloxham is just on the doorstep here. He's been just peeking over the fence of the backyard all race long and just hasn't had an answer on how to get through the gate and get out that front driveway yet. But he is definitely working on it, sitting in behind Rapid Duck here right now, and really just trying to maintain the gap, trying to maintain the pace, trying to close in as much as he can. And I do suspect that when we see Rapid Duck pit, we will see MX Bloxham pit. Johnny B picked quite a bit earlier, and I don't know if that was, of course, just strategy by design, or if he just wanted some clean racing air to try and maybe make up a little more time on the track and see how everything settles out when those two make their pit stops. They could make a mistake in pit lane. Anything could happen. We have Bloxham in second. We got Dan here in 8th position. Jerry here in 14th. He's looking pretty good too. Some damaged up race car there. This guy right here, he's been racing so hard tonight. GG's to Rigo. He's had a brilliant race in my opinion here today. Alright, Trapman in 11th position, so up another position I think since the last time we were on him. JDR is in 9th place. Dan has gotten around him. No, yeah, Dan's been around him for a while here, 17 seconds the gap. Bernie 2.5 seconds in behind, so he hasn't really been able to close up on the Lamborghini up in front of him here. We have Scary Guy again in 12th position. We've got Bernie here in 10th. We've got Delta here in 17th. Fluka in 15th. We got Vieira here in 4th position. Where is he? He's just coming through Brussels right now. Is that Brussels? I believe so. Choco here in 16th. We've got Yakast in 5th. We got Racing Hobo here in 13th. Alright, our race leader, Rapid Duck here, moving quite nicely, so let's jump on board here, and, oh, wrong on board. I just have a little look-sees here at what he's got going on. You can see the dirt on the windshield, you can see a lot of visual distractions starting to develop here over those race cars. They continue to race through Spa here, so gonna sit back and let y'all enjoy the lap here a little bit. Bloxham coming into pit lane. Duck's all out on his own here. He's going to pit now. He is going to pit here now. So, interesting call. So here we go. Let's see how this settles out. MX Bloxham comes out just ahead of Johnny B. I mean, like 0.4 seconds ahead here. So right back nose to tail are Bloxham and Johnny B after their set of pit stops. So undercut versus the overcut here in this situation. We're going to have to call that a draw. 50-50 split right down the middle there, as no time lost, no time gained from these two drivers. So now the question is, where does Rapid Duck come out in relation to MX Bloxham and Johnny B? Johnny B is the fastest man on the track right now, 2:19.705 here as well. So fastest lap point definitely factoring into play here. So that's definitely an important point to have in your back pocket. But we still have 5.5 minutes remaining of the race. It's not over. It's not over yet. Alright, we got that live timing starting to come down here as Rapid Duck's in pit lane. It's down to 23, 22, 21, 20 seconds as the drivers of GS getting ready to come out of the source. Pit lane exit is on the other side of the wall here as we come around the first corner. They'll be on the right hand side as we get down towards Eau Rouge, and it takes you right up Eau Rouge and riding on up the right side edge there. So they're coming out right where pit exit is. And where is Rapid Duck? He's on pit lane exit here. Is he back on track? He is. So the gap right now still coming down between Rapid Duck and Bloxman Johnny B. Let's let that settle down and see what that time is. It looks like it's about 3.4 seconds. So Rapid Duck gaining a little bit of time there with the extra lap on Bloxham and Johnny B. Interesting, interesting. Dan still sitting in 8th place, but closing in on that Porsche driver of GLR Seal up in front. And maybe, just maybe, with 4 minutes remaining on the clock, he has enough to reel that driver in and try to grab one last spot here before the checkered flag waves. Got Irish Jerry in 14th position as he's heading into Lacombe here. Rigo in 6th position, having a fantastic race here as well. Had some great battles so far here tonight on the racing track, and he's looking very comfortable in this Lamborghini here currently. Trapman in 11th position. He's also in that Lamborghini and moving and grooving here. We've got JDR in 9th, but boy, oh boy, look who's back. The Audi. Bernie is chasing here. He's got the gap back under a second as they head down towards Eau Rouge and already on for the 23rd time here tonight, and Audi is absolutely on the hunt. He's like a kid who just smells a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie that just came out of mom's oven, and he's going to try and sneak one of them cookies off the baking sheet right now. So here we go as he's coming up, and he is chasing JDR down. Let's see if he can get him here. Let's keep going through our field. We got a scary guy in 12th place, and hey, the production crew wants us to watch this battle, I guess, as they throw us back on the 10th place driver Bernie here. And we were on JDR just a second ago, but the gap is still just under a second between the two drivers here. So Bernie has moved up into 10th place there, and JDR is going to settle here in 10th for the time being. So a little mistake made there by JDR. I'm a little bit confused what I'm seeing there, where the live timing just sorted itself out. But Audi driver going to grab a spot there. He goes really wide though as he comes through the corner right there, and race control maybe looking at that. Got Delta Mike here in 17th position, and you know what, good job to that driver. He has had a tough night here tonight. That Austin Martin is definitely worse for wear, but he's still out on track, and he's still getting that very valuable seat time in. Seat time is experience behind the wheels of these racing cars. It is very valuable experience. Fluka here in 15th position, and I mean, huge love to this driver right now. He had a massive incident coming out already on early in the race, big crash. And he's got this car back on track, and he's moving and grooving here. Vieira here, this driver here, having an absolutely crazy battle with Rigo 24, the Lamborghini driver, who's we just watched battling a little while ago there. He has PP Acast closing in here though, closing in quickly, just 2 seconds behind. But boy, this driver has had some great battles on this racetrack tonight, and again another new face here in the series, but boy, look at this guy drive. We've got Choco, getting a little bit wrong. He's going to eat some sausage curb there. He's going to get it back on track, and then the rear end's going to go around on him, and oh boy, it got bad to worse real quickly there for Choco. Yadcast here in 5th place. We got Racing Hobo here in 13th position as he's just navigating around Choco there as he comes up to that point on the racetrack. We've got GLR Seal 4.8 seconds behind Rigo here. Dan is in 8th position and 1.7 seconds in behind the Porsche driver and closing slowly. So this final lap of the race here, as our race leader, of course, coming across here with Rapid Duck. He is still closely followed by MX Bloxham here in second place and Johnny B in third place, just in behind MX Blocks. 1.9 seconds separating second and first, and 1 second separating second and third. Dan in 8th position. We've got Irish Jerry here in 14th. We've got Rigo in 6th position. We got Trotman here in 11th. We got JDR in 10th. We've got Scary Guy in 12th position. We got Bernie here in 9th. And that Lamborghini still chasing a JDR there in 10th position. Delta Mike here now in 17th. He still has to clear that pit stop, they say. That's interesting. He's been in pit lane like 3 times. We've got Fluka here in 15th position. Let's stick with race leaders here as they're coming through campus for, well, the final time heading into the Paul Frere curve. We're going to have 1/3 of our race remaining here as the drivers are coming around for the final time here. And in through the Paul Frere curve, takes us up a little straight, a little kink to the left. That takes us into Blochemont. And of course that leads us into a little bit of a straight stretch heading towards the bus stop chicane. And it is Rapid Duck coming around, and he goes extra wide there as he comes around. And again, just wanting to keep the car underneath of him, so he's coming into the bus stop chicane here. He's got 1.6 seconds on Bloxham. In behind the second place is going to be Rapid Duck to take first place here. And ooh, we got a car sitting on the edge of the track there, and it's going to be Bloxham, followed by Johnny B in second and third position here. So GG's to those 3 drivers. Let's try to catch up with 4th place here. We got Vieira, and where is Vieira? Vieira is just coming around here in 4th position right now. Got a battle between Yacast and the BMW there, or the Aston Martin there. A little bit of contact made there, but nothing major. Both guys continue on down the road, so it is Vieira here as he heads up in towards Blochemont right now for the final time. And he's going to be taking a 4th place finish here, but he's still got to make 3 corners yet. So let's not call it too early here. And it will be a 4th place finish here for Vieira. Yacast in 5th place. Great race coming from him here today. Rigo as well. Fantastic racing coming from this driver here in this Lamborghini. Currently sitting in 6th place. He does have Seal chasing him behind, but 5.6 seconds in behind is that driver. So no immediate pressure. He's just going to take this thing, get it around one final time, and keep it straight and get it across to the checkered flag. So it's 6th place here for Rigo at around 2 at Spa. It's going to be GLR Seal coming through with a strong 7th place finish. A little up and down race from him, but coming out in the top 10. Dan in his premier's debut going to come out in 8th place. JDR seeing Fluka all over the backside of him here. And looks like Fluka stole fastest lap away here too in this race from our racing leaders. Showing that that car still had some pace, that's for sure. That's interesting. That's interesting. Alright, so it's going to be JDR here in 9th position, and Fluke is going to come around there and finish in 15th position here as well. Bernie is going to finish in 13th position, and oh, we had two drivers for sure out of the race. We had Vic drop out right immediately at the beginning of the race, and then we lost another driver. Who was it? I don't know actually who it was right off the top of my head here. I'm just going through the driver's list trying to see who's missing here. Interesting. Alright, so we're just gonna jump into the Discord here. We're gonna go. Where is it? Find this little doozy of a channel here. Where is it? There it is. Alright, hopefully our Discord is working better tonight. We've had some issues recently with our Discord audio. I don't know why. But it happens. Alright, we're gonna shut that guy off. So there it is on the screen in front of you. The absolute very difficult racing track of Circuit Spa here. And, well, that was some great racing. We haven't seen the first to third battle like that here all season long. So they were literally nose to tail from start to finish. The only time they were separated basically was that pit stop sequence. As soon as those sequences all sorted themselves out, it was a Rapid Duck and MX Bloxham and a Johnny B 1-2-3 finish here. So all three of these drivers at the end of the last season saying that they're going to come and challenge for this championship this season, taking up the podium here in round 2 at Spa. So should be interesting to hear what they're going to have to say about today's race, because it was a doozy. We got Bloxham currently sitting in our chat. So let's go have a chat with our second place driver, MX Bloxham here. This is our current defending champion here from the GT3 series right now on Sundays. Of course, winning the GT3 Summer Series version 1. This is version 2, essentially, the second running of it. And here to defend his crown. Unable to make last night's race right at or last weekend's race right at the last minute. But boy, oh boy, if luck doesn't have it, race control had to call the red flag due to weather conditions. And the race technically is not official. It will be ran later on in the season. So essentially, today kind of starts the championship chase, round 2 at Spa. So pretty nice racing conditions out there for Spa. Typically we see the weather go hit and miss here, and some pretty good racing for the most part here today. You had a great qualifying run, and the race started, and your goal really was just to make sure you were there to have a shot at that thing at the end of the night, and you were, but you just felt a little bit short here, as Rapid Duck just seemed a little just a little faster. Just couldn't find your way around him there. But for the most part, nose to tail driving all race long from yourself, Johnny B, and Rapid Duck. So I mean, talk us through your race. I mean, how was it out there tonight?
Intense. There wasn't a moment to even think to myself. It was just get around Duck any way possible. And man, it's so hard when you're within within a half a tenth of each other every lap. It's hard to ever gain an advantage on the other guy, and then you got another guy behind you that's trying to overtake you the whole race. That was intense. Incredible race.
Absolutely, and there was a moment very late in the race there where you were closing in on the first place driver there, and a little bit of slipstream you were in that. You had a little bit of overspeed coming in the corner, and we seen you purposely go a little bit wide. Was that literally a contact avoidance measure right there?
It was just to give him the respect he deserved. To make that pass, it had to have been some contacts, and I'm not going to do that with him. If we door bang at some point, so be it. But I wasn't going to do that. It was too fair, too even. Man, just way too much respect between us three.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for first, second, and third place to drive nose to tail for a 60-minute endurance race is a feat all in itself. Never mind around a very technical, difficult racetrack like Spa. But the only thing separating these three drivers, like I said, was literally the pit stop sequence, and they were all right back nose to tail again. I don't think there was ever more than 3 seconds separating these three cars throughout the whole grid, but it was definitely fantastic racing. I mean, obviously very equal pace, the three of you drivers. So you were saying, trying to gain that one extra tenth you need to get a nose in to try and get position on that next guy in front is very difficult. But you're also, especially being a second place driver, kind of in a tougher position, because you also have to worry about, like you said, Johnny B in behind, who's literally thinking the same thing you're thinking on the first place driver. So how do you manage that, I guess, under high speed conditions like Spa?
you just try to focus forward. Try to not look in the mirror too much, and you got to at some point, but try to not look in that mirror, drive forward. Um, Man, it was that was just an insane race. I was hoping I'd really be able to get somebody, and you're going to have to gain 4/10 on them to really get a passing on. It was going to take a mistake, and Duck never made a mistake.
Neither one of you really seemed to make a mistake. If there were mistakes made, they were very subtle and very minor, and didn't seem to affect a whole lot, but maybe a tenth of a second lost or gained from each driver. But that was definitely some incredible racing, and I mean, it wasn't just the three of you up front. There was some great mid-pack battling throughout the early parts and latter parts of the races as well. And we're going to give a notable mention to the newest driver here that we've seen on the grid tonight, Vieira, coming in fourth place overall here in the night, and Rigo finishing, I believe it was sixth overall. I mean, the battle that those two had very early on in the race, 2 to 3 laps, basically door to door, trying to get the pass made on the other driver around this track, not very easily done. And just want to give a mentionable to those two drivers here tonight as well, providing some absolutely crazy side by side clean racing battling here. It's a good race, so you guys have to go watch it back. You missed some great stuff in behind you for sure. But any last remarks and any shout outs or thank yous out there from our second place driver MX Bloxham and current defending champion?
Man, shout out to Johnny for the pressure. Shout out to Duck, just a hell of a run. He never folded under pressure. Hell of a driver. Thanks to IRL, all the admins, everybody that puts this on together. It's a wonderful series to race. I'm glad to see a decent grid today. It was nice.
Absolutely, and 19 of these roaring GT3 machines definitely makes for a fun day of racing at the racetrack, that's for sure. But congratulations again, another podium finish here today. It ain't that top step, but I think we're in for a pretty juicy 8-week season if it continues to stay like this between these top three drivers, that's for sure. But great racing, congratulations, and we'll see what you got in store for us next week.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully I'm right back up here on this spot, except I'm going to take Duck spot next time.
Well, there we go. It's on. I told you, Chad. It's going to be all gloves off here between these three this season. This could be a lot of fun to watch. All right, we're going to move down to Johnny B, our third place finisher here tonight. Now, Johnny B was the defending champion moving into the GT3 Summer Series Part 1 here this season, and MX Bloxham stole that title away. And he said at the end of last season, when we finished our Summer Season Part 1, that he is coming back for that title. And oof, it was not for a lack of an absolute valiant effort today. Coming up just a little bit short of getting ahead of MX Bloxham on the grid, but boy, oh boy, a very hard fought and well-deserved third place drive from you here today as well. Talk us through your version of the race here today.
I don't think there's anything more I could have done in the race. If I needed to do anything to, advance another spot or two, it had to be in that 15 minutes of quali. I think that the three of us, our pace was so, interchangeable. Had, you reverse the quali order, put me up front and then, MX in the middle, Duck in third, we probably would have finished that way, I think. I could be wrong, but I do think that's the way it was. I threw everything I had at him. Tried to get him to make a mistake. He had a couple, MX had a couple little slips, but nothing, like you said when you talked to him, a tenth, 2/10 right, so couldn't get by him. I even tried to duck down into the pit early, had basically a flawless pit stop, and got out, had a good out lap, and I still came out exactly where I was when I went in. So that was an incredible race. Absolutely exhausting. But yeah, I couldn't have done a whole lot more. I gave it everything I had, and they were just equally as good, if not a hair better, and all the credit in the world to them.
I mean, and absolutely, and very well said. I mean, that speaks volumes. It's a rare occurrence in a 60-minute endurance race here on the Sette Corsa Competizione to see first, second place literally split by a second and a half coming across that start-finish line after 60 minutes of racing. It really is. So, what we witnessed here tonight, for all the folks that are viewing and who are going to view later at their own pleasure, really was special. A very special moment here at Spa tonight. Seeing that, it is very unheard of, and to see the pit stop sequence then the way it ended, I think Rapid Duck really benefited the most from that pit stop sequence. He came out and gained about a second after that final stop. Other than that, these drivers, you couldn't split their pace by a hair tonight, and it really provided for great racing action up front. The race start, I mean, you guys are up front. You got a very good, clean racing start. I mean, how does that play into your mind? Spa is absolutely famous for some pretty gnarly racing starts, especially with these GT class cars, just due to the nature of this racetrack, and especially the first time up to Kemmel Straight through a Rouge already on. I mean, how do you, I guess, just kind of handle that nerve set in your mind, knowing that, okay, it's Spa, it's a 50-50 chance we're going to survive race start?
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? You kind of got to make up in your mind whether if you're, have a chance to go side by side through Erosion Radion, if you're actually going to do it. Um, Being a 60-minute race, I didn't necessarily want to take that chance. I probably could have got a little closer to him, but I figured I'd tuck in and just kind of see where the race took us. Maybe the wrong idea, but I'd rather survive at the end and be third than take us both out or something like that. But yeah, I mean the start is crucial, and we all got away good. So that was it. Nobody screwed up. We pushed each other the entire way. Yeah, that was just like I said, nothing more I could do really at the start, in the middle, or the end.
Absolutely, but I mean, nonetheless, very respectful racing between the three of you. I'm sure if there was going to be an ample opportunity for two of you out of the three, or all three of you to battle, it would have been spectacular to watch, I'm sure. But great race, great start to the chase to try and get that crown back from, of course, MX Bloxham here this season. But clearly, Rapid Duck is going to try and throw a wrench in both of your guys' programs here this season, as he did say at the end of last season as well. He was just pre-testing to try and make a run for that title here this season as well. So the two biggest threats to you right now, definitely those two drivers.
I mean, I'd say so. And there's plenty of other quick guys too, but week in, week out, doesn't matter the circuit. They're both just lightning fast. And which is great. We race each other all the time, and it brings the best out of all of us, I think, right? When somebody's pushing you to keep improving, keep finding an edge wherever you can, you're just going to get better. So, but the problem is, so do they, and it shows. So, I think we'll put an emphasis on quality performance going forward and try to get that advantage early, because you do have to be 3-4 tenths faster, probably, if not more, to get a pass done or catch an error. And neither of those guys make very many of them at all. So we'll just keep trying, back to the drawing board, and try to out quality them next week, and hopefully we can hold it.
Well, there we go. A little bit of insight on, what goes through a driver's mind when they're chasing for a championship here for the viewers at home. We appreciate all that insight, of course, as always. And I guess any final remarks or regards on the race here this evening, and any shout-outs and thank yous you want to throw out there?
Appreciate IRL as always putting on these races. Duck and MX for just being, class X out there and just fast, right? Pushing me to get the best out of myself. And then everybody else. I mean, there was other people behind me on the race start, and they were clean, and so it's just good racing all around. And I appreciate all the racers in the league, and like I said, definitely all the credit in the world to Duck and MX, because they're both just super quick.
Absolutely, and that they are. And like I said, I think it's going to be one dynamite 8-week series if the three of you continue this charge for that championship title here this season. But there are plenty of quick drivers out here in the Assetto Corsa Competizione PlayStation 5 platform that could come and challenge these guys too here. So it is always open for registration over there on SimGrid for all you sim racers that are sitting there in the dark right now going, can I beat these guys? You don't know if you don't get on track and try. So find IRL over on SimGrid there and test your might against our top three finishers here in a race this season: MX Bloxham, Johnny B, and who we're about to go talk to, Rapid Duck. But congratulations on a great third place finish as always. And well, maybe we're talking to you here again next week as well. But it'll let you get back and celebrate. And race on, folks.
Hey, thank you. I hope to talk to you 7 more times this season, and get you on the call as always. I can't wait to watch it back.
Cheers, we appreciate you, my guy, and I guess we'll see what next week has in store for us. All right, last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, our pole sitter here in qualifying. and he took off in the whole shot. He stayed in the race lead, and well, didn't give that race lead up all race long. Even when he made the pit stop, he still maintained that race lead. But boy, oh boy, was it close when he finally decided to make that pit stop with just under 5 minutes remaining in the race. There, only 3 seconds was that gap to second and third place drivers. I mean, incredible racing here from you today. You said last season you're coming in and you want to win, and well, starting the season off technically here in round two with last week's race cancellation, but good start to the championship season. You're going to come in with the championship points lead starting next week. So how was the race for you, and talk us through your evening?
Oh yeah, thank you. I mean, the race was incredible. The three of us, Johnny, MX. I mean, whole 60 minutes within 2 seconds. It doesn't happen too often. So definitely one I will remember for a long time. I mean, like Johnny said before, I mean, we are so close to each other. We drive the same car. We drive basically the same setup as well. Whoever goes on top in quali, I mean, if you don't mess up anything, if you keep it clean, it's rather impossible to either gain or lose position. So I mean, I was just super lucky to get on pole. After that, we had clean start, and I mean, from there was no point they could have done. I mean, the only way for either one of us to pass was to make a mistake, but we all kept it clean. Then with I don't know, roughly 10, 15 minutes to go, Johnny pitted. I thought that MX would pit right after him to cover the undercut, but he kept on going 2 more laps. Then after that, I did my fast last lap in, and then I was just praying to get a good pit stop. Luckily, it was pretty good. And after that, I was just bringing it home. Not get too many track cuts. I finished with 3 track cuts. I believe I get two track cuts after 40 minutes, and the last one I just used on my last lap. But I mean, it was just a constant fight to keep it clean, not make any mistake, and then basically not let them pass. But I mean, great racing. Huge shout out to both MX and Johnny. I mean, like Johnny mentioned earlier, if he would have put the car on pole position, he would probably have won. I mean, it's just so close between us. It's qualifying will be crucial week in, week out, and we'll see where it brings us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, let's just touch on that. All three of you drivers tonight in the interviews have said you're very comfortable racing against each other. You work with each other a lot, practice against each other a lot. You're in the same car, like you said. You run roughly around the same tune setups in these cars. So really, clearly, the driver skill is very equal between the three of you. So when you are in that position as the leader and you have those two behind you, do you feel more comfortable and find yourself not maybe checking your mirror as much, so to speak, to see if MX is going to be taking a look inside this corner? Does that help you feel a little more comfortable in the racing lead in that situation, being so comfortable with the two drivers that were chasing you this evening?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I know I can trust both of them. They will not do anything stupid. And then if there is a chance when they have possible run on the inside, I just try to cover it. But I mean, today there was one time when MX had run on the inside, I covered it. He went on the outside. There was nothing you could have done. But I mean, I trust those guys, both of them. That's why the racing is so great. With other drivers, I mean, you never know what's gonna happen. With those two, I know if they don't have a clean pass, they will never make a stupid move that will cost both of us race. I mean, just really enjoyable, very hard but very fair racing. I mean, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that often. That's why such a great place to racing here at IRL.
To my button, absolutely, and very well said. But overall tonight, very great race. A lot of the mistakes that were made here tonight were what seemed to be just self-made mistakes from the drivers. The car is just kicking out on them a little bit. We only seen one car-to-car incident that I'm sure race control will be looking at post-race, but nonetheless, great racing. The race start was fantastic. We touched on that when we were talking with, I believe it was MX. Spa's a 50-50 shot on race start with the high-speed sector to Kemmel Straight coming into those S-curves of Lacombe. So, I mean, overall, really, really great racing from start to finish throughout the whole pack. Lots of great, clean battling happening throughout the pack here. So it seems like very early on this season, all drivers have very early settled in and are ready to race here. So looking forward to the last 7 weeks of our season here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what's the next race, but I'm already looking forward to it. I mean, I think I will slightly change my approach because I mean the race pace, it's important. But I mean, like we saw today, everything. I mean, the race was really settled after the quali finish. So I'll probably change my approach, focus more on the quali runs, and we'll see where it brings us. I'm not sure what the next track is, but I mean, I'm already looking forward to next Sunday.
I think we all are with the great racing action we're seeing from these amazing race car drivers here at the Infinite Racing League. But, congratulations on a great race. It was definitely a well-earned win here today, and the well-earned ones always feel the best. So I guess any final remarks and any shout-outs you want to toss out there here tonight?
Oh, and just huge shout out to Johnny, to MX, great race, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing all three of us here for the next 7 weeks. I don't know if it's possible. It would be great to see that.
Absolutely, and maybe a final round showdown between these two drivers setting up already here in the second round, but first point counting round of the season. So congratulations, great race win, and in his eyes, hopefully the first of many here this season, and we'll see what Rapid Duck has in store for us here in next weekend's race. Congratulations, and we may be talking to you next week.
Yep, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing group of drivers that the Infinite Racing League continues to provide on the racetrack week in and week out. Now, these are not necessarily drivers that are familiar with the sim racing community here at Infinite Racing League. These signups are done, as I did say earlier in the broadcast, through simgrid.com. It is a sim racing league group. They have several leagues and organizations that they accept into the SimGrid program, and they get to represent. Leagues get to represent it. All signups go through, of course, simgrid.com. So we have a very large variety of our sim racers from all over the globe coming in to check out what's happening here at Infinite Racing League throughout these weekend events and during the week as well. So we're always seeing new faces coming in and out, and we're seeing a great variety and different driver styles and skill sets from the racers. And ESN, of course, a competition platform, and it's just providing for some really great racing action here on Sunday evenings at IRL and GT45 Gaming. So, tonight's race was no exception. It was a fantastic race. We've had some doozies here over the last couple seasons in Infinite Racing League. We had that Zolder Rain race 2 seasons ago. We had another Zolder Rain race last season that was just as good. And now we've got this epic round 2 Spa race that is just one of those rare races where we've seen some things happen during this race that you just don't see that often. And our winner touched base on it. It's one of those wins he will not forget for a very, very long time because of how hard fought and earned it really had to be here tonight. So massive props to all of our drivers on grid here tonight, all 19 of them, 20 of them I think we maybe even started with tonight, and I can't wait to see who fields the grid next weekend for round 3. We appreciate y'all. Stay winning. Don't forget to like and share this bad boy out, man. Show the sim world what we're doing over here. Let's get more fans and more racers up in here checking things out, and we'll see you all next week at the same time. We should be live at about 8:45 p.m. Eastern time to get the series kicked off. Qualifying drops on the top of the hour. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all, and we'll see you all next time.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath. My past is filled with things I won't forget. I use them all to push me to my best. So treat the worst of times just like a test. If only I could go back in time, I'd tell myself that everything will end up alright. Just push yourself, test yourself, figure out what you like, and find your limits, don't be rigid, always work towards a prime. Surround yourself with open minds, people can change your life. A few friends with intent can help you feel alive. Find a passion, take some action, and with a little time, just be patient, make a statement, try to enjoy your life. They'll try to kick you while you're down. They wanna rise up while you drown. They wanna fill your head with doubt. They're silently scared that you'll figure it out.